Hey guys, this is a review for Yellowcard's Lift a Sail album. I definitely got a good amount of requests for this one, so I figured I'd give my opinion on it. Just to kind of talk about a couple things about like my reviews and stuff. Like for the New Found Glory one, and comparing it to this one, I guess. I expect certain things out of bands, at least for like pop punk, like for New Found Glory. I expect them to be pretty solid. I expect them to be, you know, I expect them to stay true to who they are, but at the same time change things up a little bit. And you know, I'm not just gonna give every band an A plus just because I like them and I like things for the most part that they do. So that's the same thing that I'm doing with this Yellowcard album. I'm not just saying, oh yeah, it's good, whatever. You know, I'm definitely going to try and be critical about it, and I'm not going to just praise everything that a band does, even if I've liked them for 10 years or longer. So I just want to be clear about that. I started going song by song, writing down things I liked about this album and things I didn't like. But honestly, I got to like song 5 or 6, and I just said fuck it and just got like a general idea because I was noticing a very common pattern. So first thing I'm going to talk about is the drums. Someone suggested I talk about the drums. They did lose their drummer, Longino, and it definitely shows a little bit. I mean, I'm not a drummer. So sometimes I don't really notice how good a drum section is, but I definitely noticed how standard the drums were in this song, or in this album, sorry. And a lot of the songs were just straight up like electronic beats too, which who really gives a shit about that? Certainly not most Yellowcard fans. But the songs that did have drums in them, I mean, they sounded good, but they didn't sound very creative. They didn't sound like Yellowcard, at least what most people know. So I can see why most people wouldn't like that. For the guitars, I thought there was a lot of good guitar riffs in the album, which is great for me. I mean, I'm definitely happy about that. That's sort of one thing that they either did or didn't do. Like Ocean Avenue didn't really have bigger riffs. I remember Lights and Sounds is when they started doing like more riffy type stuff, and then Paper Walls did it a little bit. When You're Through Thinking, Say Yes had it not too much. And the one after that, Southern Air, had it here and there. But I definitely noticed it was more prevalent in these songs, except for the songs that were definitely very soft, very slow, and there were a few of those. There was probably like 4, maybe more. One Bedroom was one, Madrid was one. I don't remember the other ones, but overall, I think the guitars were pretty good, even though I didn't really like the fact that they were down-tuned a lot. Like, I'm not sure exactly what what tuning they're playing in, or if it's even the same for each song, I don't know, but I'm assuming they're playing so low because maybe Ryan can't sing certain things as high. Maybe he's having trouble with his voice, I don't know. I mean, the average listener is probably not going to really notice that much. That when you compare Ocean Avenue, that had most things in like a standard tuning or like a higher key, probably won't notice that much that they're playing in a much lower key. So I mean, I definitely notice, mostly because of my guitar background, but I mean, I don't really think it affects that much song wise. At least I don't think it makes or breaks a song. So the singing itself, I think, is pretty solid. I think he does a really good job, and I think that he does a lot of very catchy vocal melodies that I feel are probably some of the strongest parts of the album, especially because some of the songs aren't really guitar driven or drum driven. I mean, there are a lot of slower songs. Bass, to be honest, I didn't really pay attention to the bass. Let's see. I did read that they planned, or maybe they didn't plan it, but they said it's more of a like a rock record, not necessarily a punk or pop punk record. And granted, I never really considered them to be much of a pop punk band anyway, but they were at least in that sort of group. I mean, you could at least clump them in there, but it's definitely a bit different with this album. And I mean, I can see why people would like it. I can see why people wouldn't like it. To me, overall, I think it's okay. I mean, it's one of the albums that, for example, I'll keep on my iPod just because it does have some good songs that I won't necessarily feel like skipping every now and then. For example, like Lights and Sounds, I did not like that album. That was why I stopped listening to Yellowcard for so long, and I still don't like that album even after the few years that it's been since it came out. So this one, I mean, I like it better than the New Found Glory album. I'll be completely honest about that. So I mean, it's an okay album. I can see why it was their lowest charting album in its opening week that they've ever had. I can see that. I read that on Wikipedia. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it's time to try something different for the band. I don't know. I mean, they've had a few revolving members for a little while, and I mean, they always had the violins. In some songs, it's cool. Some songs, I feel like it might be a little forced. There's definitely a couple songs like MSK that had like some really big violin sounds, which is cool. I mean, I got nothing against that. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people could take it or leave it. Really, I feel like it's not for everybody anyway. So that's really all I have to say. I mean, the things I wrote down are pretty much everything I said already. There's songs I like, there's songs I don't like One Bedroom. I don't know why the fuck they picked that for their first single. It's probably one of the worst songs on the album. I mean, if I was gonna pick one, I'd say maybe I don't even know. Maybe Transmission Home. That one wasn't bad. I don't know. It's just it is a little surprising how many slower songs are on the album. So that definitely slows it down a little bit. I feel like Yellowcard is the type of band that should start off with, you know, a faster, or maybe not faster, but at least like a bigger song like Crash the Gates or Transmission Home for a single, and then maybe for a second single do something slower, like One Bedroom or one of the other ones. That's just my opinion, really. So I feel like the majority of their fans like them for those songs, and I feel like if that's the first song that you're showing off for an album, it's not really gonna make your fans that excited, and I feel like that showed in their album sales. So I don't know. We'll see what happens for these guys. I mean, I'm at least glad they're not on Hopeless Records anymore, because I feel like every fucking band is on Hopeless Records these days, and that's really annoying for doing like YouTube related stuff with like guitar covers and whatnot. I'm sure someone's gonna ask. I don't know if I'm gonna do any covers from this album or not. I haven't really been in a Yellowcard mood the last like year or so. Like when Southern Air came out, like I was into them again for a while, but overall since then I didn't really care too much. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's about all I really have to say. I mean, out of 10, I'd maybe give the album like a 5 or a 6. It's not bad. It really isn't. But I don't think it's even remotely one of their better albums. Any of their last few albums have been better than this one, in my opinion. And I don't know. It's just it's a little forgettable, to be honest. So, but like I said, it's worth giving a shot. Thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions for other CD reviews, like this one, for instance, so many people requested it, so I did it. So let me know, and I'll try to oblige. See you later.